Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you watching, listening today. Of course, I want you to subscribe. Holy buckets, we have great content here. All kinds of reasons you should subscribe. One of them is for our great jokes, maybe. What do you call a pig that knows karate? A pork chop. Karate. Yeah, I know. But it only is going to get better because we're going to finish our series, Dining with Jesus. And over the course of the series, we've talked about miracles that Jesus has done, multiplication. We've talked about Last Supper, the first breakfast. And today we're going to be talking about multiplied provision. Because there's a couple of occasions where we see Jesus take a little tiny bit of food and multiply it for thousands of people. You can read about it in Luke 9, verses 12 to 17. This is where Jesus feeds 5,000. And it's interesting because as you read this, you find out that you got this massive crowd and the disciples are like, hey, Jesus, you need to send them away because, we don't have anything to give them. They've been with us a while and they need to go get some food. And there's a couple things for us to think about. And I'm bringing this to your attention because I suspect you have some areas in your life that need multiplication. You're like, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm just be honest. We're now in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I think my life in that season goes into overdrive in this season. I mean, there's so many things to do, this and this and this. And it's just, so I find that I'm skinny on energy. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough. There's a lack and it stresses me out. So I'm bringing it to your attention because I'm asking you, what are some areas in your life that need multiplication? What is an area? I'm going to ask you that at the end to answer that. Because Jesus multiplies. Jesus can take the very little and multiply and make it more than enough. That's what he does with this provision here. So a couple things to consider. Number one, Jesus acknowledges the need. When the disciples came to Jesus, they said, hey, we don't have enough food and we got way too many people. The provision doesn't match the need. And Jesus acknowledges, yep, I see that. You give them something to eat. And he turns it on the head and puts it on them. And I'd be like, dude, we're not like the solve all. You're the solve all. You're the fix all. So we're coming to you. You do the fixing. But I like what Jesus says. Not only does he acknowledge the need, but he also says, what do you have? Take an inventory. Take an inventory. What do you have? Because right now, all you're looking at is the immensity of the need, and you're overwhelmed, engulfed by all of it. But what do you have? Take an inventory, because you do have something. You have the time, you have this, you have and little snippets, and look at what you have. And then I like what Jesus says. He does practical preparation. So he says, this is what you have. Okay, you got a couple fish, a couple loaves of bread. Then get everybody to sit down in groups of 50. Jesus doesn't multiply and do the miracle before he gets everybody ready. So there's preparation that goes before the miracle. And I think that's really important for us to think about because a lot of times we can look at the scarcity of what we have, but we don't always prepare for Jesus' abundance. Get ready. Get everything organized, situated, so there's not pandemonium when the miracle happens. I think it's really interesting to think about that. And then I like what Jesus does. He takes the bread and the fish, he blesses them. So many times, I've said it before, so many times we'll be like, well, there's so little. It's like we curse the provision. And it's never enough for the need. But when we bless what God has given us, even though it might seem small, Father, I thank you for this. I bless this. And then that's when the miracle, the provision, starts to get multiplied. And so I just want to encourage you, as you think about dining with Jesus and thinking about this season and all the demands and the struggles and what Jesus can do, how Jesus can multiply. Jesus can take very little and turn it into more than enough. Because at the end of the story, it says that everybody ate. And they had at least 12 basketfuls left over. They went around and collected all the leftovers that everybody ate. Thousands of people from just a little tiny bit of provision. So I like this whole dining with Jesus because it encourages me to watch for Jesus in my life and to consider, and I'm going to have you answer this question. First off, answer this question. This is a question. What needs to be multiplied in your life? You're like, oh, where do I start? So pick maybe the top one or two things. What needs to be multiplied in your life? It might be you need to multiply forgiveness. You've got a little tiny bit of forgiveness, but man, the situation requires abundance, a boatload of forgiveness. Maybe you need energy. Maybe you need time. Maybe you need grace. Maybe you just need some fresh habits. What needs to be multiplied in your life? So think about that. Answer that there. Of course, you want to share this series with your friends. Hit the notification bell right there. We'll keep you posted when we put up new content. And thank you so much for subscribing. Catch you next week.